Love and service, taken to their overlapping and proper heights, are two of the most important injunctions of every great spiritual teacher in each and every faith and cultural tradition. True service is deeper than deep. At its highest levels, it is selfless and seeks no reward. It is love in action. It is karma yoga, that pathway of love-infused action, of serving the omnipresent divine in all, as a means to purify our own hearts and minds and achieve union with God. Service takes innumerable forms, from the smallest and seemingly most insignificant action to something world-changing. Even the unseen energies of deliberate thoughts, of positive regard, and of peace and happiness for all, which can really be termed prayers or affirmations, can be considered service. And yet, that which enhances and makes it true is the intention behind it and the degree to which the heart gets engaged. When any service, no matter how great or small, is done with sincerity, empathy, and compassion, it can become divine. Service can also be the personal work of refining one's own thoughts, words, and actions, and becoming an ever better all-around person. A person who is always ready to extend kindness and heart-to-heart assistance. In such cases, one's very being, one's very life and way of living becomes a shining light, an energetic principle of high being and effortless inspiration. There's so much more, and I have so many incredible and lasting experiences I can share that clearly validate the high mutuality involved in giving time and focused energy in serving those we call others. But here's not the space and not the time. So let me move on to the 9 quotes, which will naturally reinforce some of the points that I just made. This opening quote is by one of the greatest servants of freedom and justice to have ever lived, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In 1964, he became the youngest person to ever receive the Nobel Peace Prize. This, of course, was followed by countless others from all over the place. He said, "Everyone can be great because everyone can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't need to know the second theory of thermodynamics and physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love." This next one is by the renowned Horace Mann, who is known as the father of American education. He was also the founder of Antioch University. Doing nothing for others is the undoing of oneself. We must be purposely kind and generous, or we miss the best part of existence. The heart that goes out of itself gets large and full of joy. This is the secret of the inner life. We do ourselves the most good by doing something for others. Sri Satya Sai Baba. Serve others, for they are reflections of the same entity of which you are yourself another reflection. No one of you has any authenticity except in reference to the original one. Always feel kinship with all creation. You cannot be happy when the rest of the world is unhappy. You are an organic part of the world community. Share your prosperity with others. Strive to alleviate the suffering of others. That is your duty. Notwithstanding the ever-present need to promote greater clarity and astute human-centered political, economic, and social change, service work, in the meanwhile, is a change agent's most immediate and most practical and truly most lasting alternative to a truly democratic and egalitarian society. During my first pilgrimage to India in 1980, I visited Mother Teresa's orphanage in Calcutta, which is now called by its pre-colonial name, Kolkata. Then, 4 years later, I had the great fortune of regularly volunteering at her orphanage in Nairobi, Kenya, while I was teaching at the university there. Here is a brief yet brilliant quote by her, who demonstrated that a Catholic nun could be a true exemplar of karma yoga. The service done may be a small one, but when it is done with a large heart and at the proper level, it can yield great results. Following our wise directives and insights by the remarkable Helen Keller, join the great company of those who make the barren places of life fruitful with kindness. Carry a vision of heaven in your hearts, and you shall make your name, your college, the world correspond to that vision. Your success and happiness lies in you. External conditions are the accidents of life, its outer wrappings. The great enduring realities are love and service. Here is a concise three-liner by the great Indian philosopher, poet, educator, social reformer, Nobel laureate in literature, and so much more, Rabindranath Tagore. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy. This one is by the 19th century playwright, critic, and political activist from Ireland, George Bernard Shaw, who was also awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. This is the true joy of life, to be used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die. For the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle for me. It is a sort of splendid torch, which I have got hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations. Now here comes number 9, which has been slightly adapted from Sri Satya Sai. One should come to understand that when they do service for others, they do not truly serve others. For ultimately, they are serving themselves. And if they think that they are doing good for the world, the laws of cause and effect, of action and reaction, of sowing and reaping, of what goes around comes around, instruct that whatever good one may be doing for the benefit of others will ultimately serve their own best interest. And now the authors.